Thank you so much for being here. So today we'll be talking about cryptocurrency and how Coins.ph plays a role. We'll be going through the basics of that. I'm sure this session won't be enough to go through everything that's possible about Coins.ph, but it should be enough to get you guys started. So we'll talk about crypto, the blockchain, and then afterwards the role of Coins.ph, and then hopefully after that, together using the Miss Universe platform, we can help spread awareness about cryptocurrency so that we can help the Filipino people to get started by investing, trading cryptocurrency, or even using cryptocurrency. And maybe some of them will also start companies and applications over the blockchain. So I'll hand it over to Franco, who will talk about crypto for us.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Franco, Crypto Community Manager here at Coins. So thank you, all of you, for coming here today to learn a bit about crypto. So yeah, I'll just take you through what the basics of crypto are, from blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum to NFTs. And then at the end of the presentation, we have our entire ops team here that's going to help you buy your first ever crypto. So yeah, just to get started, who here already has crypto or has any experience? Right? We got a few. So it looks like you might already know some of the stuff here, but yeah, I'll go ahead and start. So I think we should start off by defining basically what is currency versus cryptocurrency. So currency is defined as a medium of exchange used to facilitate the trade of goods between two different parties. So you can kind of think of currency as a communication tool. It basically allows people to agree on how much they value a particular item. So you can also think cryptocurrency in a similar way. It's also a communication tool, but it's a new form of digital currency that uses cryptography to secure transactions on the blockchain. So cryptography is basically the science of sending secure messages or data from one person to another. And that's basically how all transactions with cryptocurrency are sent, through this process called cryptography. So the example we have here is just for Bitcoin, but there are in fact thousands and thousands of different cryptocurrencies, and there are more being created every day, and each of them serve their own particular use case. But at the end of the day, the one underlying theme that ties all cryptocurrencies together is the fact that they're based on some form of blockchain technology. So blockchain is really the key to understanding how cryptocurrencies work. So that brings us to the question, what is blockchain? To put it very simply, blockchain is a network of computers that reach agreement over a shared ledger. So I'll try to break that down for you. Basically, what this ledger is, it's just a record. It's a record that tracks the movement of money coming in and coming out. So if you've done a course in accounting before, if you ever tracked your budget on Excel, or just a physical record of that, you should be familiar with this. If you have an e-wallet or a banking app, basically whenever you send money or you receive money, you can see your transaction history, and it shows you all the transactions that have taken place. So that's basically what a ledger is. It's just a record that shows the movement of money from one place to another. So with that being said, now that we've defined what blockchain is, how exactly does blockchain work on a practical level? So I think the easiest way to wrap your head around this is basically comparing how a transaction is typically done in a bank versus how a transaction is done via the blockchain. So here we have a typical way that banks process transactions. It's very centralized, and the ledger here is just one ledger. So the ledger that you see here it's the sole ledger that tracks all of the transactions within a bank. So let's say, for example, right, you want to buy something using your debit card. What's going to happen is the shop is going to tell the bank that you want to buy something, and it's going to check the bank and see if you have enough money in your account. Now, when the shop talks to the bank is going to check its records, and if it sees that you have enough money in your account, it's going to update the ledger. And once it updates the ledger, it's going to show, the ledger is going to show the movement from your account to the shop's account. So that's basically how the banking system works. It's very centralized, and it's really just the bank that's the sole owner of this ledger. And the beauty with blockchain is that basically we can completely remove the bank from the situation and have it processed instead by the blockchain instead. So the question is, how exactly will that work? I can't really trust, you can't trust me, or you can't trust any random stranger, but we can trust everyone. And what I mean by this is, instead of relying on just the bank to keep the records updated, we can instead have this ledger distributed through thousands of computers all over the world, and all of them will be able to update the ledger simultaneously through the use of blockchain technology. So once again, let's say you want to buy something, right? For blockchains, basically what's going to happen is when the transaction comes in, it's not only going to be Catherine that updates the ledger, it's also going to be Donnie, it's also going to be Daniel, and it's also going to be Bell. So let's go back to the definition of blockchain. So a blockchain is a network of computers, as you can see here, that has a shared ledger that everyone reaches agreement on. So in order for the transaction to pass through in a blockchain, all of these ledgers have to agree that the transaction is the same across the entire network. Now, what happens if there's a bad actor? What happens if there's a bad egg between one of these four people? Basically, if this hacker, if their ledger does not match the rest of the ledgers in the network, the transaction will no longer push through. And that's really the beauty of blockchain, is that instead of relying on one centralized entity to keep track of all the transactions, we're relying on a global network of ledgers that can all update. So basically, why is blockchain important? To put it very simply, three main things. First, it's very difficult to change the network, because as I mentioned, instead of there being one ledger, there's thousands of ledgers all over the world. Second, the data is transparent, so anyone can see it. This is publicly viewable for anyone who's online. They can see the records very easily. And last, but most importantly, we completely remove the middleman from the equation. So for the first time in human history, we have a payment system that's native to the internet, which has never been done before. And that's the power of blockchain. And this fact that there's no middleman, it doesn't just apply to banks. This can apply to any third-party payment processor. So another example of this would be if you wanted to send, let's say, 10,000 pesos from the Philippines to the United States. Usually your middleman in that particular case would be your remittance center. And the remittance center would charge a high percentage fee, and sometimes it would take several days for the transaction to actually arrive in the United States. So you can actually bypass the remittance center entirely with blockchain, and you can use a cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin, for example, and you can send Bitcoin from here to the United States for a fraction of the cost, and within just an hour. So that's really the power behind blockchain technology. So now that we've defined what blockchain is, I want to proceed on perhaps what's the best use case for blockchain, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is essentially the first use case of blockchain technology ever. You can't have Bitcoin without blockchain, and you can't have blockchain without Bitcoin. They were created at the same time, and this is why Bitcoin is kind of considered as the OG, the original. This is really the foundation of which all other cryptocurrencies were based on. And that's why it's actually the oldest and largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization. Right now it's at around $750 billion as of today. And basically that puts it, that makes it bigger than companies such as Facebook, NVIDIA, even Nestle. So this is a big asset class. This is a big player in the financial world today. It's no longer like this fringe or small asset. It's really emerged as an asset class just as good as gold or silver. And because of that, it's really here to stay. A couple of things I just want to make sure that everyone gets about Bitcoin is the first thing is that it's not a government issued currency. So it's not like the US dollar, it's not like the peso. There's no country that creates it. It's also not a product created by a corporation. So there's no CEO, there's no chief of operations, no board, no employees. Instead, it's a technology protocol that anyone can build on. It's open to anyone. And a protocol is basically a set of rules that governs how data is sent. And just so it's easier to understand, I've given here on the right some examples of very popular protocols we use every single day. So we have TCP/IP for internet, we have HTTPS for web, and SMTP for email. And now you can actually add Bitcoin to that list of protocols as well. So another way I like to compare it to is email. So email is basically a protocol for sending messages online. You can think of Bitcoin as a protocol for sending value or money online. So this technology, Bitcoin, is really a way for other companies and organizations to build on top of. Because at the end of the day, it's not a product, but it is a technology. Another thing that's cool about Bitcoin is that there will actually only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence, and 19 million of which have already been mined. So, of course, it's kind of crazy, right? How this digital asset can have a finite amount. But that's really the power behind blockchain, is that they can make sure that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. So even when the last Bitcoin is mined, which is estimated to happen in around 2140, no more Bitcoins can be created after that. That's it. That's the cap. And if you compare that to a fiat currency like peso or dollar, Bitcoin cannot be printed. It's truly limited to that 21 million cap. And this means it's a digitally scarce asset. And scarcity is basically a crucial trait of money. Because if you can create money out of thin air, if you can just print it, or if you can just create it out of thin air, over time, it'll become valueless. And this is truly limited. And that's why, when it comes to Bitcoin, it's often compared to digital gold. Because like gold, it has a finite amount. And there can't be any more created after a certain amount of time. As more and more people and more institutions and more companies get familiar with this technology and they start to acquire more Bitcoin, the circulating supply of Bitcoin is going to decrease and the demand is going to increase. And from basic economics, the lower the supply, the higher the demand, the greater the price. And even though Bitcoin has had its ups and downs, it's been outperforming any other asset class in history. So, for example, here in 2014, when coins first started, you could buy one Bitcoin for 16,000 pesos. Now, 16 pesos is a lot of money, but 8 years later, today, just one Bitcoin, is worth over 2 million pesos. So yeah, as you can see, this is a serious asset class, and as more and more people adopt this technology, you can expect the price of Bitcoin to increase over time. That's Bitcoin. That's the number one cryptocurrency right now, and it's the biggest by market cap. But now I want to talk about Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization after Bitcoin. And basically, I just want to distinguish between two things. So Ether is the cryptocurrency. So that's the crypto that actually has value. One Ether is around 150,000 pesos right now. And then Ethereum is the blockchain technology itself. The easiest way to wrap your head around Ethereum is that of a programmable blockchain or programmable money through the use of smart contracts. So basically, Ethereum has emerged as a platform for other developers to build applications on top of through the use of this technology called smart contracts. So, what exactly is a smart contract? I think we can start by defining what a traditional contract is. So, as you can see from that visual there, when you sign a traditional contract, Usually it's two people going into a room. They have a physical document right in front of them, and they're going to sign it together. And then there's usually a third party present to make sure that the terms of the agreement are followed through. So with a smart contract, this is a self-executing programmable contract that's stored in the blockchain, and the terms of the agreement are written directly into its lines of code. It's not written on paper, it's written through code. And what this allows us is to completely remove the third party from the equation. Basically enables the smart contracts to automatically execute once all these conditions are met. And this is essentially what Ethereum is. It's become a platform for developers to use smart contracts and build applications for the blockchain. So now that we know what smart contracts are, what are some of the use cases for smart contracts? The first is something called ERC20 tokens. And ERC20 is basically a smart contract. And this allows you to build tokens on top of Ethereum. So some of the tokens you see there, USDC, Chainlink, Kyber, all 9 of them, these were built using the Ethereum network. And even until this day, there are thousands and thousands of cryptocurrencies still being built using Ethereum. Another use case for Ethereum is something called Nfts. This stands for non-fungible tokens. And basically what they are is they're unique digital assets whose public proof of ownership is tracked using the blockchain. So these are completely unique tokens. They can't be exchanged with one another. And what you don't actually, it's not the image that you own. It's the proof that you own the image on the blockchain that's important. So a lot of people say, okay, can't I just screenshot this, or can't I just save this and have it on my computer? Yes, you can, but the value of it is in being able to own it on the blockchain. So you can own the image, but you can't actually sell it on an NFT marketplace. And if you own the NFT, you can actually do that. So here are some use cases for NFTs. The first is NFT art. And these are basically created by artists who want to tokenize their artwork as an NFT. And the cool thing about this is that every time, you can actually program it so that every time the artwork is sold, the original artist can receive a percentage of the profits. So it's a good way for them to continue generating revenue even after the initial sale. And of course, it being on the internet, these artists are no longer restricted to their geographic or physical location. You can put this piece of art online and it'll be available for anyone around the world to buy. So that's really the innovation there. Next category of NFTs is something called collectibles. And these are digital assets whose value is dependent on their scarcity and rarity. And basically they are, through the smart contract, they can be generated algorithmically. So each collectible has its own unique set of traits. Some of these traits can be rarer than another. So as you can see here, some of these Bored Apes have a hat, some don't. Some have a gold jacket. So all of these are different traits, and some of these traits are rarer than others, which means that all of these collectibles can have different value from one another. And the cool thing about holding one is that it gives you access to exclusive online communities. If you hold one, you can get exclusive access to merch. So it's almost become sort of a membership pass for the NFT world. And if you're a holder of one, only you can access it. So right now, the floor price of a Bored Ape is around 100 Ether. That's around 16.8 million pesos. So quite hefty for an NFT as well. But actually, other than celebrities, another interesting development in the NFT collectible space is that even companies as big as Adidas are actually getting into this. So Adidas actually purchased a Bored Ape recently. Because you own the NFT, you can also own the intellectual property rights. So Adidas, now that they own this ape, they have the right to use it in however way they want. So the ape is called Indigo Hertz. They've been using it in a lot of their comics, marketing materials, and you can expect this trend to also happen with other companies because it's a really good signal that the company is very forward-thinking and they want to get involved in this new NFT industry. Okay, and then the last category of NFTs is something called Nft Gaming. And these are basically video game assets. They can be skins, they can be characters, avatars, and these are used in blockchain-based games. So the example you see over here on your left is a game called Axie Infinity, But the innovation here is that now that they're an NFT, you don't just play with them. You can actually sell these creatures for actual money. So a lot of careers, especially during the pandemic, have been made by breeding these Axies and selling it to selling it to buyers. So that's really the cool thing that NFTs bring to gaming is it allows you to monetize your video game assets and actually earn money from it or crypto from it. Okay, so that pretty much summarizes everything you need to know about crypto. Of course, there's a lot more than that, but hopefully I gave you a brief scope of what this industry can provide. And now, I just want to introduce everyone to Coins. So, in case you haven't heard of Coins before, the three main things that you need to know is we are the biggest crypto wallet and exchange in the Philippines. So we also are the OGs. We've been around since 2014. And we also have over 16 million customers. And perhaps most importantly, is we're licensed and regulated by the BSP. So that means if you want to get started with your crypto journey, we are the safest and we're the most secure place to start. Basically, our app allows you to cash in through, it's very easy. We can cash in through all of the major e-wallets and banking apps, and you can convert that to crypto instantly. So yeah, thank you so much again for letting me teach you a little bit about crypto. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, I'm excited to get your crypto journey started with us. Okay. So I think there's an extra mic back there. So if anyone has any questions, comments, yes.
Hello,
Hello.
My name is Paulina from Bohol. I just wanted to ask, out of curiosity, why only 21 million Bitcoin?
So this was the agreement there's something called a Bitcoin white paper. And that's what the creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, basically released out on the internet. And it's basically a technical document outlining all of the things that Bitcoin is. And one of the things that they put in this document was that there would only be a limit of 21 million. And the reason why they put it at that specific cap is because he knew that this would be enough Bitcoin for it to become a viable currency without it being too much where essentially it would become valueless over time. So, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, sorry.
No.
Yeah, I have a 3-part question.
Sure, I'm excited for the next 2 parts.
Sorry. So then to follow up on the first question, so
Yep.
Bitcoin and Ether are both cryptocurrency.
That's
but
correct.
Ether is not under Bitcoin, right? Did I
No.
get that correct?
That's-
so
yep,
is
that's
there a
correct.
cap on Ether?
Is there a cap on
A
Ether?
cap on Ether.
That's a really good question, actually. There is no cap on Ether. And one of the reasons for that is because it's a platform. So it's not like a Bitcoin where it's like gold, it's a store of value. Ether is really a platform for other cryptocurrencies and NFTs to be built on. So if there were to be a cap, it would limit its use case. So that's why it's, as of now, I believe there's no cap on how much Ether that can be created.
Okay, thank you. Last part, promise.
Sure.
For me, for the creating NFTs, does it have to be created on a digital platform?
Yeah, it has to be created on the blockchain.
It has to be created on the blockchain. How do you create something on? Okay, 4-part question. How do you create something on the blockchain?
You would have to basically write. Remember the smart contract section?
Yes.
You would have to write that smart contract, and in that smart contract, you would program it so that digital image gets converted into a token, and then that token you can now buy on the blockchain. So you can do that yourself, like you can write the smart contract code. I can't, I don't really know the code. But there are also other platforms that help you do that for your behalf. So some popular NFT marketplaces like OpenSea, if you've ever heard of that, you don't need to write your own smart contract. The platform can actually help you mint your own NFT. Yeah.
Thank you. That's all.
Fifth
No,
question?
that's
Okay.
it. That's it.
Hi, thank you so
Hi,
much.
hello.
So you mentioned that the cryptocurrency market isn't being regulated by the government right now. With its growing market cap, do you think that anytime soon the government will get its hands on it to regulate it?
Sorry, yeah. I will bring in Eprom, who will help me out here. This is Eprom, everyone.
Okay, yeah, so that's actually a good question. So, it is not controlled by the government, but it is actually regulated. That's why we are a licensed company by the BSP. So they're basically looking at how we're managing these things, making sure that the way our users are putting in funds and the way they're using it is always controlled. We have enough security features to make sure it's always secure. The funds are always secure, and there are no bad actors using it. Right? So it's not used for money laundering and everything else. Because some people will try to do that, and platforms like ours will have the technology to catch those bad actors as well.
Nice, thank you. And I just have one follow-up question.
Yes.
In terms of tax, like in other countries, like let's say for the US, they base the tax on the financial stock market based on your income tax bracket. Does cryptocurrency work here in the Philippines like that as well?
I don't really want to give tax advice, but I think the government is actually already getting to learn more about crypto to see how they can regulate and tax it as well. But eventually, right? Anything that you can earn from, we should be responsible and pay our taxes.
Okay, thank you. From Iloilo, by the way, sorry.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, hi, good afternoon. My name is Anjanette Hapor from the Lucena City. I actually work in London Stock Exchange Group or Thomson Reuters. I knew about crypto because we have a trading platform, and I noticed that cryptocurrency is not as explored by trading professionals. So as someone who is starting in cryptocurrency and trading for crypto, what advice can you give to us, especially if we are interested to explore crypto trading? Thank
Yes,
you. Because you also mentioned that the market is very volatile, especially for crypto. So what advice can you give to us as starters? Thank you.
So for traders, I guess a lot of traders actually like the volatility, right? I guess you should know that because they can make money whether the price is going up or it's going down. But I think the most important thing, and you will hear this a lot when you talk with crypto professionals, is the best advice is do your own research, because everything that we're talking about right now, and because it's very early, there's always changes in the market. There are new things, there are new technologies, new opportunities every day. We have people here building applications on top of the blockchain that you can also invest on that front. So keeping yourself updated. Obviously, only investing with regulated entities like Coins.ph, because once you start investing in other platforms that are not really regulated, there's no one who can help you get your money back if there's anything that happens to your account.
Right, thank you.
So sorry, I think that's all the time we have for questions. But we're here, so if you want to ask us anything, we'll just be here. So you can still ask. But yeah, I think right now we'll get you started on buying your first ever crypto. How does that sound? Yeah. Woo! Well, we're gonna be sending you funds on your Coins wallet. If you already have a Coins wallet, you should be good. But we can also get you verified. So yeah, as I mentioned, we'll be sending you funds, and from there you can choose whatever cryptocurrency you want to buy. We have quite a number of cryptocurrencies available, but just feel free to ask us like what exactly they do if you're curious. So yeah, thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Pauline Cucharo, Amlings from the very beautiful province of Bohol. We just finished our Coins.ph session. I actually started reading about cryptocurrency late in 2021, but I have to admit it was all so overwhelming. It was a lot of information that I was researching about on my own. So I really didn't understand it much as a crypto curious beginner, I guess. But with this session of Coins.ph, I was able to digest all that information better. And now I'm actually really excited to start investing into cryptocurrency. And thank goodness Coins.ph is making it so much easier for us to do so. With the swipe of your screen and just the push of a button, I can already invest. So that is really something I'm looking forward to, and hopefully it will help me in the next parts of my life.
Hi everyone, this is Katrina Legado, Miss Universe Philippines 2022 from Taguig City, and I'm going to share with you my experience with Coins.ph. So as you all know, I am a finance graduate, and way back in college, I already knew about Coins.ph, and I hope that I already bought my first Bitcoin way back because that's only 16,000, and now Bitcoin is already priced over 2 million pesos. So you guys know how much I am already on FOMO right now. And My experience with Coins.ph is really smooth, and the interface, the app is really friendly, and I think this is something that the Filipino people should all be known, because Coins.ph really helps every one of us here to be knowledgeable about cryptocurrency, and this is something that the Filipino people should already adapt. And I think being able to open our minds into cryptocurrency and being able to also dive into this Bitcoin and blockchain would really help us. And as for me personally, I am using Coins.ph, and later on I will already purchase more coins and more cryptocurrency. Thank you, Coins.ph.
Hi, I am Celeste Cortezi, representing Pasay. You know, actually, I never had any experience with cryptocurrency up until now. And at first, I thought it was such a complicated topic, but thanks to Coin.ph today, they really taught us how easy is the process in investing in cryptocurrency. So I'm very grateful for that, and I really cannot wait to invest on my first coin.
Hi everyone, it's Michelle Marquez D, and I'm representing Makati City. So my experience with Bitcoin, or at least cryptocurrency in general, actually the whole blockchain technology started in late 2020. Admittedly, I was influenced by a lot of my friends, and when the pandemic hit, there was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of curiosity, but I do have a thirst for knowledge, and everything that I do, I really want it based off of facts. But of course, I got really excited by all of the success stories that I ended up purchasing too many coins without proper research. So obviously, I learned the hard way about the volatility of the market, which prompted me to do more research. And I think that's the most important thing when you're entering an industry like blockchain, is really knowing your stuff. Do your own research is actually a mantra in the blockchain world. And then when the crash happened in May of last year, that's what prompted me to get into NFTs also. But the possibilities are really limitless. As I always tell my friends, how often would you get an opportunity to be a part of an industry as bigger, or actually, that's bigger than the internet itself? Because in a few years from now, it's just gonna dominate the whole world. And I'm just really excited to, be aware of it and be part of it, and try to put my foot in the door also, and just enjoy the ride.
So how is Coins able to have it?
Actually, Coins.ph was my first crypto app on my phone because of how easy it was to use. And also, I could cash in with other applications also. So it was so easy to just transfer money onto Coins.ph, and it was literally just with a swipe and you already have the cryptocurrencies. I just opened it again recently, and I was so surprised that the funds actually exponentially grew. And of course, it is BSP regulated, so I'm not worried of my funds disappearing or anything, because there are a lot of horror stories with a lot of other companies. I have been a victim of those other companies, so trust me, when it's regulated, it's always safe and secure. So that's why I really love Coins.ph.